Before we dive into today's episode, I want to extend a special invitation to all of our listeners. If you're considering adoption, navigating the home study process, or simply curious about your options, RG Adoption Consulting is here to guide you. Visit our website at www.rgadoptionconsulting.com/contact to schedule a complimentary chat. Our multi-agency approach is a strategic way to accelerate your adoption process without putting all your eggs in one basket. This strategy prevents you from feeling stuck with one agency, especially after a significant financial commitment. Why not consider a multi-agency approach with lower initial fees? We believe it makes a lot more sense. Plus, the support and education you receive through our services are aspects you might not expect you'll need until you're deep into the process. Reach out to us at rgadoptionconsulting.com/contact. We're here to support your adoption journey every step of the way. Your dream is to become a mom. My dream is to help you get there. I'm Rebecca Gruenspan, a single mom through domestic adoption and an adoption consultant for over a decade. I'll be your guide, along with other adoption professionals and members of the adoption constellation, walking you step by step down this beautiful and complex path of adopting your baby. When I was going through the adoption process, I had no idea what I was doing, what I needed to know, or more importantly, who to trust. Well, after helping hundreds and hundreds of families grow through the beauty and complexity of adoption, I've learned more than a thing or two, and let me tell you, it's not always rainbows and butterflies. This isn't just another podcast sharing adoption stories, but it's for you if you're genuinely committed to diving in with an open heart, eager to learn everything there is to know about adopting a baby so that you can show up for yourself and your child in the best way possible. This podcast is for you if you're ready to put your newfound knowledge into action. Adoption isn't for the weak of heart, and it certainly isn't done when your baby gets placed in your arms. If that's what you think, I'm afraid you're living in la-la land. My promise to you is to keep it real if you promise to keep digging. We'll acknowledge the hard, and we'll also celebrate the joy that is adoption. You ready? Let's do this. Hi! Welcome to This Week in Adoption, featuring me, Rebecca Gruenspan, founder and CEO of RG Adoption Consulting, and host of the Adoption Roadmap podcast. It is nice to be here this morning. In November, we are in National Adoption Awareness Month. I have a lot to talk about this week. First, I want to start by saying thank you. Thank you to the listeners who have tuned in to the Adoption Roadmap podcast to listen to my over 50 episodes. Over 50 episodes. I cannot even imagine that I have recorded with so many guests without having to really beg, borrow, or steal to get a guest on. Like, it's been wonderful. And so I want to thank every single one of my guests who have come on. I've had the most amazing conversations, and I cannot wait for next year, next season. This will be my last episode of This Week in Adoption until next year, when you can tune in for season 2. I would like to hear from you, though. I really could use your help. We are about to go to Florida, my team and I, for a week of planning for 2025. So I ask you, what do you think is missing in the world of adoption? And I'm specifically talking to hopeful adoptive parents and adoptive parents. That's my lane. I'm sticking to that lane only. There are other services for birth parents and adoptees that are just as important, but that's not my world. I'm specifically speaking to adoptive parents. We help adoptive parents navigate the adoption journey, and we are also educators. In your mind, wherever you are in your journey, I want to know what's missing for you. What do you wish was out there that you are not seeing and that you are not getting? I do. I want to hear from you. I also would love to hear who your favorite guest has been, or what was your favorite episode of the season 1. There's been over 50 episodes, I think over 25 guests so far. What has been your favorite? What has been your most interesting that you have listened to? And what do you want to hear for the coming season 2, which will begin at the beginning of next year? I really do want to help fill the gaps within adoption, not just in the consulting world, but to expand that. And that is something that my team and I are going to be really digging into in the coming weeks as we think about next year. To give me that feedback, number one, you can leave reviews and ratings on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcasts, wherever you're listening. You can DM me through Instagram at RG Adoption, Facebook, however else you want. You can email me at support@rgadoptionconsulting.com. Point is, I would love to hear from you. I would love your feedback. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about what's been happening in the world of adoption in the last couple of weeks. It's been crazy. I've gotten the most interesting situations. We had not too long ago, a couple where the woman is terminally ill and the dad knows he cannot take care of 3 children. And I think one of them is autistic and is placing them for adoption now and splitting them up, which is just, it kills me. And that's what he has decided. I have another sibling group where there's 2 young ones and then an older one with autism, and they are getting split up. I have had a 2-year-old who's been with mom for 2 years, and mom doesn't feel like she can care for the child anymore and is placing. And I've had like 3 baby borns, perfectly healthy, no exposures. We also had one woman who was actively using, I think, cocaine and gave birth in the bathtub at a hotel. So crazy all over the board. So when people come to me and say, what is the typical situation? My answer is yes. Yeah. Whatever you can think of. That's the typical situation. Everything. Adoption is filled with highs and lows, as you know, if you've been on this journey. It is a lot of hurry up and then wait, right? Do you want to present for the situation? I need to know in an hour. And then you scramble and get everything in and you present your profile. And then it takes them a week to get back to you. Or, that's a common scenario. Or, we need it in an hour. We're going to meet with the expectant mom, this afternoon. And then it was, something came up. We're not going to meet with her until next week. But you are the one always, as the hopeful parent, to have to hurry up and cater to the needs of the entity, of the adoption agency or attorney. And for some reason, a lot of entities feel like they need to present to the expectant mom at 8 o'clock on a Monday night when she's due in 4 months, instead of just waiting till the next business day and perhaps maybe giving families 2 days to decide. I don't know. That's crazy. The problem is there are so many families that even if an agency says, okay, we are presenting on this day, you have 2 days to decide, unless the agency is planning to present every profile that they get in, most likely If you wait those 2 days, you're not going to have that opportunity. You've missed it. It's gone because they already have way more profiles than they could ever show. And that's the world of adoption we live in. There's a lot of hopeful parents wanting to adopt. And so when they get a situation, they, respond immediately. And then suddenly the ones who are really giving it the time and effort that it needs have lost out on the opportunity to present. And God forbid they work and can't get to their phone during the day. You have to figure that out if you are adopting. If you are like a doctor or whatever, you're going to need to take breaks and watch your phone. Okay. So there's lots of highs and lows. There's the hurry up and wait. Oh, here's the situation. I had a situation, baby born. The entity talked to a lot of families, and for one reason or another, they couldn't make it happen. And I was told, so there's the entity that's placing and then the entity that they're trying to get families from. And then it came to me. So I was told by the person that's trying to get families that the first person that can make it work and make it happen, like it's their situation. And I had a family who was ready to get in the car and go. They were great. They had the money. They were fine with the nuances of the situation. And there's some risk involved, a good amount of risk. But they were willing to take it. They presented thinking this is going to be our baby, only to learn, well, that initial entity went back to old families and was going to try to make it work with them. Oh, but then it really didn't work out with that one. So they're going to go back to another family first. So then it's yours. Sorry, it's not. There's a lot of highs and lows in adoption. Or another scenario is you get matched. You finally get matched. And you're very excited, and your first phone call is set up, which is very common. You typically set up a call with the expectant mom, and it's going to be tomorrow at 4:00 p.m. So if you're working with me, I'm likely going to scramble to make time to get on a call with you to prep you for that call. And the nerves are there. They're high. The nerves are high. You're excited. You're nervous. You've never done this before. And then, oh, sorry, we have to cancel. Mom, has to pick up her kids from school. So we'll try to find another time next week. Not even mentioning the family who has presented 27 times, and each time it was no, I'm sorry, you weren't chosen this time. And that's so hard for me to tell a family, I'm sorry yet again, you are not chosen. It's hard not to feel like, what's wrong with me? Why am I not getting chosen? Why are we not getting chosen? And I just want to tell you something, and please hear this. It is not you. There is that right expectant mom who is going to match with you, and it's going to be the perfect match because they relate to something in your life, whether it be a tattoo you have, a pet you have, your late Uncle Joe, or the fact that you have 10 brothers and sisters, or that you put blueberries in your cornflakes. The mother who finds you is going to be so excited that they found you. You're going to realize why all those no's came before that. It's not you. It's something that she connected with in that other profile. It's not you. That said, you want to make sure that your profile is great. You don't want to skimp. Don't get frustrated because you don't have any good pictures. Go get pictures taken, okay? Don't send in, create a profile with pixelated pictures or in a picture where you're one of 5 people that look like ants because they're so small. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of highs and lows in the adoption world. Another thing is trying not to get lost in the shuffle. I had a call this week or last week or whenever week it was, where somebody has been on the journey a couple has been on this journey for a while now. And they said, we want to sign up with someone where we're not going to get lost in the shuffle. And I had to have a come to Jesus moment with them and let them know that that's on you. If you don't want to get lost in the shuffle, that's on you to not get lost in the shuffle. You're a dime a dozen, hopeful parents who want to adopt. You're a commodity. If you get angry at an agency, they probably don't care too much because there's 500 other of you waiting to get in. So number one, remember that they are not, an agency's role is not to give you the attention and find you a baby. Before we go on, we're going to take a quick break, but don't go away. We still have so much to talk about. Hey there, Adoption Roadmap fam. Are you ready to take the next step on your journey to parenthood? If so, head over to our website and take our quiz. It's called, Are You Ready to Adopt? It's not just about testing your knowledge. It's about making sure you're emotionally and practically prepared for the beautiful, complex journey of adoption. Let's make your dream of parenthood a reality. Go to rgadoptionconsulting.com and take the Are You Ready to Adopt quiz today. That's rgadoptionconsulting.com. The quiz is free, and it will let you know where you are in the process and if you're ready to jump into your adoption journey. An agency's role is not to give you the attention and find you a baby. And you might be sitting there going, well, then what the hell is their role? I'm paying them so much money. You are. And trust me, that's not lost on the agency either, but there's a lot of people willing to pay that money. Their role is to, they want to work with expectant moms, so they're advertising to expectant moms or doing whatever they can to bring in more moms, and then to love on those moms, to serve those moms, to counsel those moms, and to find out what she is looking for her baby, and go out and try to find the right person for her, not for you, for her, and ultimately for the baby. It's a mindset shift. So that's number one, is realizing really there's no one out there that's going to be like their job to go out and find you a baby. That's not what adoption is. On the other hand, number one, if you work with a consultant, consultants are solely there to support expectant parents, hopeful parents. Now, we can't go out there and get you a baby either, because if we're true consultants and not facilitators, number one, we don't even work with birth moms. But number two, we don't have control over that. But what we are going to do is put you in the best light possible and get you in front of the right entities and the right people in order to help you get the right match. And then it's up to you not to get lost in the shuffle. And in order not to get lost in the shuffle, you need to not get lost in the shuffle. You need to show up. You need to call. You need to write. You need to send gifts, send flowers. I'm kidding. You don't need to do all of that. You don't bring me flowers anymore. That's an oldie but goodie. Things that just pop into my brain as I talk. It's up to you not to get lost in the shuffle. So seriously though, call. Don't call every week. Don't call every day. They'll get annoyed with you. Call every month and a half. Make a connection with someone at the agency that you're working with, or agencies. Know them by name. If I ask you, who are you working with? And you say, I'm working with XYZ agency in Montana. And I say, who are you working with there? You should know. I'll say, oh, I don't remember. Let me go see. No, know who you're working with. Relationships, they go a long way. You are working with people who are working with expectant moms who are trying to help them match. If you are on their mind and they love you and you're the easy choice and you've just called, you're not getting lost in the shuffle. I'll tell you that much. You may very well be getting a call the next day because you're at the top of their mind. That's not to say you lose out on opportunities if you hadn't just called them. But if it's a perfect situation, you better believe that caseworker is going to say, I have the perfect family for you. Oh my goodness, I just talked to them. I love this family. I think you're going to love them too. So don't get lost in the shuffle, but it's up to you. It is not up to the agency. And so after I explained that to the family and gave them some of these, little tips, they were like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. Nobody ever told me that. All right. I adopted both my boys through private adoption, self-matching online, and both my adoptions were not close to $20,000. Good on you. That's awesome. While agencies are charging $60,000 minimum. Well, first of all, self-matching online, you're not paying all these extra people who are, who have a physical agency to uphold, who have to, do things legally to, hire staff. They have to keep their doors open. They have to advertise for expectant moms. They have marketing fees. They have computer fees. They have all of these fees that get trickled down to the families. That's number one. They work with attorneys. So you're not working with as many professionals in the scheme of thing. You're not paying for an advertising fee, which that's a big fee for a lot of people. Counseling for the expectant mom, like all the expenses that the expectant mom may or may not need. And I don't know your exact situation. If she was homeless or not, what are the expenses that they need? How far along in their pregnancy are they? So number one, it is a business and you have to pay those business expenses for them to keep their doors open. And then there's the legal fees, the agency fees, the birth mom expenses. Now, the amount that an agency charges, take out birth mom expenses or expectant mom expenses. The amount that an agency pays or charges for their agency fee is up to them. And I've seen that range from, typically, I've seen it range from $20,000 to $40,000, let's say. So there can be a big range there. And I do think that there's a lot of padding that I can't always explain. And, I'm in this precarious position that I will push back. And I think too, with the hopeful parents, that I'll push back and I'll say, can you break it out, and still be like, I don't understand this. Is this really necessary? If I keep asking that, then I don't want to piss people off, because then they may or may not want me to send families over. So I'll push so far. And frankly, I push more than most. And I'll ask the questions, but I'm not going to make them change their fees. I think they're high too. I work with agencies where they see situations that are $35,000, which is very, very low, all the way up to $78,000, which is crazy ridiculous, if you ask me. And I'm not going to be the one that changes their mind. I can ask them why, and they can give me an explanation, and I can either accept that or not. Hopefully my questions get them thinking. I don't know. And yet I also know the amount of hours that adoption professionals put in to, they get calls at all hours of the night from moms needing things from food to an Uber to whatever, nights and weekends, as are we as consultants. Thankfully our families don't call us in the middle of the night, but I've worked until 11 p.m. on a Saturday night or a Friday night, and then again at 7 in the morning to try to get a mom matched or whatever. So you're also paying the people's fees. So I get it. It's infuriating. I wish that it would change, and maybe one day it will, with all the people's voices who are getting louder and louder and really pushing, and advocates going and pushing legislative whatever. Now I'm getting deeper than I even know the words to use. So, but I'm with you. Just know fingers crossed that things change. I hope that they do. One thing I want to bring up, I talked a lot at the beginning about highs and lows, and I specifically brought up at the end about that family who have received 20 no's. And how do you keep going? How do you keep going after that 25th, I'm sorry it wasn't you. You were not chosen. Even if it's not personal, it's still personal. And how do you get up and present one more time and one more time And one more time, it's not easy. It's not easy to be the messenger of that. And it's definitely not easy to be the receiver of that. And all I can say and all I can offer, if you've done everything else right, you're digging into the education, you're surrounding yourself with community, you're presenting to things, you have a great profile, because all of that does matter. You have got to continue keeping a high vibration, a high energy of activity, of, just the universe knowing that you are doing all the things to attract the right expectant mom with the right match. Woo, 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 woo. I've got a lot of it. I've got a lot of woo. So if you're doing all the right things and you're still hearing all the no's, this is where mindset comes into play. You have got to check your mindset. Do all the things, any of the things, affirmations, right? The universe will provide, the universe wants me to be a mother. The universe will provide for me. God will provide, my creator, whatever it is. Say those affirmations out loud. Pray, turn to your faith, meditate, go to yoga, work out, go on vacation, do that project. Keep telling yourself, I am holding on to hope. I am manifesting my dreams, and it will happen when it is right. When the energy aligns, I will reach, I will, see my dreams lived out. I will be that mom, that dad that I have been dreaming of. I fully believe it will happen. I will hold out hope for you. I will hold out hope for every family that I work with, because I truly believe in my heart of hearts that it will happen for you. Manifest it. See it. Imagine it. Create space for it. Say it out loud. I know that to some people that sounds crazy, but walk around the streets saying whatever it is out loud to bring that energy to you, and stop living in the, this is never going to happen. I don't know why I'm presenting again. It's just going to be a no like every other time. The more you say those things and put that out into the universe, that's what you're going to keep getting back. You have to fill your brain with positivity. Listen to positive podcasts. Put on a meditation from YouTube. Fill your brain. There's so much stuff on YouTube to fill your brain with positive energy, high vibration. Do it. Read something that's going to fill you with goodness. It really, really, really helps. On that note, I want to say thank you again for tuning in to season 1 of the Adoption Roadmap podcast, for listening and rating and reviewing, and your feedback. Please continue to give it to us. As I said at the beginning, I want to hear from you where you think the gaps are. For hopeful parents and for adoptive parents, where is that gap that you wish was out there? What do you want to hear talked about that isn't being talked about? Which episode and which guests were your favorite? Where did you get the biggest aha? Please do let us know. Either anywhere you listen to podcasts, it's, again, the Adoption Roadmap podcast, at RG Adoption, RG Adoption Consulting, wherever, support at rgadoptionconsulting.com. You can find me, you can write to me. I want to hear from you. Your feedback matters, your voice matters, and that's where we can create for you to fill the gap. So don't lose hope. Continue your journey, no matter how hard it gets. And please tune in next year. At the beginning of the year, we will start our second season of the Adoption Roadmap podcast. And here we go. Already, this is how I sign off after every guest. And it seems very apropos, which is, remember, success is a continuous journey. If you find yourself veering off course, just steer back onto the roadmap until you reach your destination. And whatever you do, never lose hope. Hope is that light inside you that will lead you to your dreams. Signing off for the year. Happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving, happy National Adoption Awareness Month. Please, please keep that hope alive. Do all the woo-woo and manifest a great year to come. Love to you all. Signing off. Bye. Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode of the Adoption Roadmap podcast. If you did, I have a few favors to ask of you. First, please hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. And while you're at it, I'd love to hear your takeaways. Please write a review and let me know what you liked. And if you have a question or a suggestion on what you'd like to hear, I'd love to hear that too. Please shoot me an email at support@rgadoptionconsulting.com and let me know what you'd like to hear about. And if you have a question, I may just answer it online. Thanks again for listening. Tune in every Wednesday and Friday morning for a brand new episode of the Adoption Roadmap podcast. Until next time, bye-bye.